Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annalisa and this is Homemade Sunshine. So in this week's video, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite small details around our new home that I'm loving. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Annalisa, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around after me being gone for like a whole year. Here's Beanie again. You're going to see her more than once probably in this video. Her tail's up so you know that she's here. But just a little rundown. We moved in the spring and we own a new home now. We live on 12 acres and we have been here since late spring, so only about 2 or 3 months. Already feels like we've been here kind of forever. Also, I'm just noticing, if you notice a big trash bag in the back, I am decluttering my closet at the same time as we're doing this, and I just noticed that in the background. So we're very true to life here on this channel. But anyways, back to our home. I don't plan on ever giving like a full home tour because I don't think it's great for the internet to know the exact layout of your house and everything. But we have 2 homes here on this property. There is a garage with an apartment that my husband works out of, and he works from home. So it's nice that he has a little apartment that he can go to and work during the day so we don't disturb him. That was a big part of why we purchased this home. And the main house is just a 2-bed, 1-bath with a semi-finished basement. And we had thought about fully finishing the basement, I will say. But then when we moved in, we were kind of like, why bother? Really, it's comfortable enough for us. So it's just cinder block walls. And as you saw, the flooring is just, it's actually really nice, like office carpet tiles on top of concrete. And we felt like that was actually probably the best thing that we could have down there at this point, because if they get wet, you can take one up, all that stuff. So there's lots of fun small details of this home that I really love. I'm going to show you guys a glimpse of some of my favorite parts of the property, some of the really fun little details of this home. And yeah, it's been a wonderful journey getting to this home. And we didn't even move very far from our old house, so that was wonderful. We have sold our old home also. We waited a couple months before moving in here because there was a lot of work to do to this home to get it up to more modern safety standards. This is also an old home. It's a 1960s, classic 60s rancher. And it also needed some work. We had to do a new roof, some plumbing had to be fixed, some electrical work had to be done. So lots of things that had to be fixed before we moved in. But we were able to get a good deal on the home because of that. Beanie, if you're curious, you want to hear how the adjustment was for Beanie. She was nervous for 1 day. Now she loves it. She thinks this is a great house for cats, don't you? You like our house? I was hoping she'd meow back, but that's okay. Our son also had a really good adjustment because we had the home, we owned it for so long before moving in. He had a lot of time to adjust to like knowing that this was a place that we were going to be. We moved all of his outdoor toys first so that while we were over here doing work on it, he would have something to play with outside. We also did not, I read in a parenting book not to, unless your child is really excited about it, which our son was 1 turning 2, so of course this was not appropriate for his age range. But they said, unless your child's really excited to change up their room, like not to do any big changes at the same time that you're moving, like don't change the theme of their room or something, or don't change them from a crib to a big boy bed or something like that. So we did not do any like radical changes at that time. We just basically took everything that was on his walls and put it on these walls, and it worked out really well. So there's a lot of really fun details that I'm excited to show you. So you ready to get started and show them some stuff? I think that's a yes. So one really fun detail, this house was built in the 1960s, is that some of the previous owners, their kids' names are carved into this same piece of wood that's in our kitchen. That has been there since, you can tell this family since the 80s, and I'll show you the other ones because they had a much younger child at one point too living here. And here's some markings from another little one that also lived here. So it's fun to see the history of this house that, back in the 70s and 80s, this same wood was on the wall, which it is sort of damaged, but It's just got too much history. It's so sweet to look at. The time isn't set on this, but they also left us one of those CD players with the radio mounted under the cabinet in our kitchen, and I have just loved that, being able to play our local radio station, and my son loves asking for me to turn it on. Another cool feature of our home is that we have this original cabin on the property. Also, if you feel me bumping a little bit or hear some noises, my son is in the stroller while we walk. But we would like to eventually turn this into a playhouse when he's older. We've got a lot of other projects that need doing here still, so this is kind of far off on the list. But it's really just cool to see this and a neat thing to have here. So this is something that we definitely would love to get fixed up eventually. For now, it's a little spooky in there. We have a couple extra pieces of roofing in there that we didn't use, but it's just a cool part of history. We love all the history that this house has. So here's another fun little corner of our house that I am loving. So you'll notice that we're in the basement. You've already seen our playroom, but I've changed this since I did that playroom tour. I think talking it out on the video helped me to figure out what I wanted to do with this corner. So I really wanted a spot to sit and read to my son because there wasn't anywhere really comfortable to sit down here, but I also didn't want to spend any money on putting anything big down here for that. And this was just an ugly corner. So I had saved from our last house. We used to have like a little window ledge that I had these outdoor red cushions on that we could sit on and look out the window. We didn't have a spot for them here, but I didn't get rid of them. I saved them. Oh, cattail alert. Here's Beanie. There she is. Can you say hi, Beanie? Hope the camera heard that. She said hi. Anyways, I saved them in our shed until I could think of another way to use them. So I brought them in here. So this is just a nice little spot on the floor to sit with your feet back. You want to sit with me, Beanie? She's going to sit here. So we've got a little back cushion. This is 3 cushions total. I've gotten these 90% off at Hobby Lobby. If I say I, my mom found these at her Hobby Lobby. She has a much better one than mine is. And it's super comfortable. I can put my legs out. Now we can sit. And behind this shelf, we don't have anything there yet. Also, you can see my fuzzy socks. Sorry about that. We've got all these shelves down through here that eventually will store some stuff. What? I don't know. It's so nice to be in a home where you don't have everything figured out yet, and also that you have extra storage. I love that. I love that we have this space to store stuff. We don't have to see it. And the wood stove we're not always going to necessarily be using. It's mostly just a backup heat source for us in case it gets super duper freezing cold. So loving this little book nook now that we've established that in our new home. So I'm editing this video back and I thought I would add in, I hung up those curtains with a tension rod. So tension rods are really cheap if you need to add any curtains anywhere where there isn't already a rod hanging. So that's how I hung up those curtains in the basement. And I think it looks so much better not having to see the electrical box and all that stuff. And don't worry, I will take them down when the wood stove is on. So no need to worry there. So this is our very retro bathroom. And I love in here the big bright bulb lights, the fact that we have 2 medicine mirrors for storage, and the cute little makeup mirror. And the reason I'm not showing you the whole bathroom, honestly, is because we're doing some renovations to the shower. So right now, this is the best looking spot. So this is my incredible closet. I'll be inserting lots of B-roll because it's kind of hard to get shots in here because it is not very big. I mean, hand to hand over here. It's not a long, like a wide closet, but y'all, it is long. This really sold me on the house when we were looking because it is an older home. As many of you know, older homes don't always have big closets. And I was kind of on the fence, but like I said, this home was not very far from where we already lived, so it was easy to get in the car and come see it. But they did not photograph this closet. I don't know who the heck took the pictures, but they did not photograph this closet. So the walls were not white. These are like those wood walls, but I don't even know if it's real wood, to be completely honest. But it was dark in here, so incredibly dark, which for this small of a room, it needed brighter walls. And all of the walls in our bedrooms are the same white. because it was this really, really dark wood. And also, I know some people like dark wood on the walls, but it was also heavily damaged. So it needed to come out either way or be painted. And this was cheaper to paint it than it would be to take all the walls out and sheetrock them. So this is my closet. It's amazing. It's the most awesome closet I've ever seen. And this really, really did sell me on this house because the closets in our rooms are very small. So like in my husband and I's room, his clothes live in that closet. And this is just mine. I feel very lucky. This is definitely plenty of closet space for one person. And we have like these drawers. I have, you know, all the way to the bottom shelves, and it's perfect. All my shoes fit in here. Everything fits. And yeah, I mean, this is a dream closet. I could not believe they didn't photograph it. The listing for this house did not sell us on it. It had actually been on the market for a long time, and the photos really didn't do the property justice. When you see the glimpses of the property, you'll be like, oh my goodness. And also we bought this house in the winter, so everything was like ugly and dead, that sort of thing. But this closet is amazing and I absolutely love it. All I can say is how much I love it. Getting all my stuff in here was so much fun, and now it's like almost like walking into my own little boutique of all things that I like to wear. All of my thrifted, mostly $1 clothing in this very fancy closet. So this was probably the main thing that sold me on this house. Very exciting. So I'm outside this morning before my son wakes up. I wanted to share some of the lovely flower beds that were left for us that we've also done a lot of work to. You're wondering why there's a big empty patch here. That is going to be, well, it already is, a bunch of bulb plants for the spring. But there were already some irises here. We moved that. Those plants that you see in the back, we put in there. But it's just lovely. I love this big rock right here in the middle. I also added that short plant over there on the side. But let me just show you the view to the back part of our property. It's just gorgeous. This is also something we added. So all these big rocks were already here to be a garden, but none of these plants were. It was just tons of weeds. And we put in lots of hostas because they're shade-loving plants. And then in the middle, there's irises. And then back there is our hammock that we had at the old house. So it's just a lovely little spot that is shaded all day long. And it's just lovely. And from over here, we're closer to the back part of the property. They used to have animals way, way, way back in the day. So there's a fence here, and it just keeps going back. And if you're wondering why are there all these brown spots, my dad came and used a skid steer. We used to have, the older couple we bought the home from only were able to manage keeping up with these green spots, which were trails. But my dad came in and used a skid steer and cleared the whole thing out. So that will green up with grass eventually, but it's just beautiful for now. Then over here you might be like, Annalie, so why are you showing us this old fence with a dying rose bush? This rose bush has been giving us roses since May. So it really loves where it's at. I'll get close to it. And there's a blackberry bush beside it. But I love this old fence. This rose bush loves this old fence also. And it's just been absolutely gorgeous. Because all season we've had beautiful roses. Probably one of my favorite parts is right up here against the house. This is the view from our porch. We have this lovely, super flat spot where my son can play. Oh, there's our HVAC, you can hear that turning on. So we've got his swing, we've got our water tables, picnic table, we've got another slide over here, our little pool over there, which I need to drain the water out of. But we have all these nice little paths also, and it's just a super fun spot to be able to play. That has these little, like, he can push his cozy coop on here, and it's just perfect having this nice flat area up against the house, especially when we've had friends come over that have like newer walkers. This is really flat and easy for them to play.
So we've really enjoyed having this spot right here. He loves watching the birds in the bird bath. That was already here. So yeah, this is lovely. And there is a fence right along here, and then lots of overgrowth that separates our property on that side. So yeah, it's a nice natural barrier, so it's very private up here while they're able to play. So this is the kids' corner of our porch. We have a nice low porch. We have all of our outdoor toys out here. So we've got my son's little buckets he plays with, some scooters, some sit and scoots, some bicycles, strider bikes, little tykes, baseball and golf set, his cozy coop, his wagon's on the other side, some outdoor trucks, his sand table. We keep the splash mat hanging up there to keep it dry. And then we've got the basketball hoop and his balls and baseball bats, all that stuff. So this is a super duper fun space. I love having this out here, and because the porch is so low, I don't have to worry about him like going on and off the porch to play with his toys out in the yard or to play with his toys right here. So that is it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'll be sticking with a posting schedule of every other week. I think that's gonna work best for us. But we're just here, we're enjoying, you know, the waning days of summer. I'm not ready for fall yet, but I am ready for it to not be like 95 degrees outside in the afternoon and the humidity. I'm a little bit done with that part, but we're just enjoying our latter days of summer here, so I think in every other posting week is gonna just work best for our family. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'll be posting hopefully every other week. We'll see. Until next time, bye.